it's Julie. Today I am going to show you how to draw some very cute anglerfish. And we're going to work on one of the elements of art, which is space, at the same time. Now what you're going to need today is you're going to need a black marker, and you're going to need one that says permanent on it because we're going to be putting watercolors out over the top of it. And if you use a marker that's washable, then the marker line will just go away. So you're going to need your watercolors. And I am using these, which are neon oil pastels, to color my anglerfish. Now you don't have to use these, but they do something really kind of neat, and I'm going to show you what they do at the end. If you don't have neon oil pastels, you might want to find some really bright colored crayons so that when you do the black background, these anglerfish really pop. So you can do this whole thing with crayon if you want. So if you're missing watercolors or you're missing oil pastels, like I said in some of these other videos, don't ever let that stop you from creating. And I'll give you some ideas for how to do this with just crayon when we get to the point when we've drawn our anglerfish. So if that's all you have, yours won't look exactly the same, but I'll give you some ideas for how to get that look where it looks like the lights are kind of popping through that black. So we're going to get started with just a regular piece of paper, and we're going to get started with it lying down. And I'm going to get my marker ready. And I'm going to draw a shape that I bet a lot of you are familiar with. It's a shark fin. So I'm going to pick anywhere I want on the bottom of my paper, and I'm going to draw a shark fin. I'm going to draw a curved line going up and then a curved line going down. See my shark fin? Then I'm going to turn my paper to make it a little bit easier for me to draw the rest. And I'm going to draw the top of his head. Now the anglerfish are known for having an underbite. So that means the bottom of this jaw sticks out farther than the top. So when I do the head, I don't want to start it here. I want to start it a little bit farther in, about an inch. So I'm going to put my Sharpie right here, and I'm going to draw a curved line for the head going up and off the edge of the page. So you see how the lower part of his mouth sticks out now? And that's where we're going to start adding the teeth. So the anglerfish has these big teeth. We're going to give him some really big teeth sticking out. And we're going to add them going all the way along in a zigzag line. So you can have really big teeth the whole time, or you can make them get a little bit smaller. And you don't have to go all the way to the end either. You can choose, but you can see he's got these huge teeth. So now we're going to give him an eye, and you can give him whatever kind of eye you want, but in my project I decided to do an eye with a circle, and then to have his pupil looking up, like he's looking up at this really cool light that he has. And I'm going to color in the top of his pupil. Now he's missing that light, so that's what we're going to add next. I'm going to draw two curved lines that are parallel. That means they go next to each other. So the first one's going to come and hook like this. That means the next line is going to hook the same way right next to it. And I don't want it to touch, so I'm going to pretend that this line will zap my Sharpie if it touches, but I'm going to follow it. I'm going to go really slow next to that line. See how it followed it without touching? Draw a circle at the end. And there is my first anglerfish. So now, depending on how big or how small you drew your anglerfish, you're going to find a new spot to put another one. And we're going to start the same process over. So I think I'm going to turn my paper this way. And again, we're going to draw a shark fin. We're going to come up and we're going to come down. Shark fin. Now the bigger your shark fin, the bigger your anglerfish. So if you want to make like little baby anglerfish, and maybe I'll make a little baby one next, you would make a really tiny shark fin. So if you just made like too small of an anglerfish or too big of an anglerfish, that's the part that tells you how big your anglerfish is going to be. I'm going to turn my paper again. Now remember, I don't want to start right here at the point, but a little farther in, and I'm going to do a line that comes up and it goes off the paper. I'll add the teeth in a zigzag line. And just like the other one, I'll add a circle for the eye. He is going to be looking up too. Color that in. And I'm going to draw my hooked line my parallel hook line, and a circle. So now I have two. I'm going to add one more before I start in on the one that's looking right at you. And this one I'm going to draw a little bit smaller. Maybe I'll put it over here. So remember how I had my really big ones? This time I'm going to draw just a little shark fin. So he's really tiny. So when I turn my paper, again, not at the point, a little bit farther in. Do you see how he ended up being really tiny? So let's add those teeth. A littler eye, right? Because he's smaller. And this stalk on his head might not be right here at his forehead. It might actually be coming from off the side of the paper. So instead of drawing the full hook, I'm going to pretend that his light stalk starts here and it would come up. It would come out right here to the paper. So my curved line will come down here, and another curved line will come down, and then a circle. So that's one way you can do it if you know that the rest of him would be off the paper, is by using your finger to see where would it go. Come back right here. Now I have 3 anglerfish. Gosh, there's going to be one looking right at us. So I'm going to find the space that I have. So depending on where you put your anglerfish, you get to decide where this one goes. When I look at this, it looks like I have a lot of empty space here and a lot of empty space here. So I'm going to choose right here, and I'm going to start by drawing a circle. Now this one is looking right at me, and I'm going to draw a smile line. And remember, he has an underbite, so his teeth come up on the bottom. So I'm going to give him that zigzag line right there. And I'm going to have the teeth in the middle be smaller, and then they're going to get bigger again. Just like that. So there's his teeth. What's he missing? He's missing his eyes. So let's go back, give him his eyes. And I'm going to give him his eye stalk. Now, if I did it right in front of his face, that'd be hard to draw. So this time, I'm going to choose a side, and I'm going to do the curved line for his eye stalk, going off to whatever side you want. Now, this one, we're going to see something else when he's looking right at us. We're going to see his side fins. We don't see them on the ones where we're just seeing their head, but we will on this one. So I'm going to draw on the side of him a line going up, a line going slightly down, and a nice wavy line. And I'm going to do the same thing on his other side. A line going up, line going down, and a wavy line. Okay, now I get to decide. This is your chance to take a look at what you've drawn and figure out, where are you missing some anglerfish? So do you notice how I have all this space here? I should probably put another anglerfish there. I think maybe I'll do another one that's facing me, but I'll make him a little bit smaller. So I'm going to draw a smaller circle. My circle, I'm going to give it a smile line, give him some nice teeth, give him some eyes. The eye stalk is next. I think I'll have it go the same way as the one next to him. And then I'm going to give him his fins. Up line, down line, wavy line. Up line, down line, wavy line. Now, when I look at mine, I think this space is okay. It's okay to have a little bit of space, but there's still a lot of space right here. So I think I'm going to add one more little anglerfish right here. But I'm going to do the shark fin type. And I'll turn my paper to make it easier for me to know where my line goes. I'll add those teeth. And then he'll get his eye. Now, his eye stalk, or his light stalk, would be right here. So it's going to come up and over, and so we'd probably just see a little bit of it peeking down, just like that. Now I filled up almost all of my paper, and so I think I am done with drawing my anglerfish. Now I'm going to use my black marker now to color in the stalks here. And the reason is so when we paint or color, if you're using just crayons, over the top, it'll look like just this light shows up. See, anglerfish live in the deep part of the ocean where there's no light, and the sunlight doesn't go that far. So these anglerfish have their own way of seeing. Let's see, got a little bit of one over here. Now you might have 3 anglerfish, you might have 10 anglerfish. Everyone who does their anglerfish drawing is going to have a different number, and they're going to look different. And that's what makes art so special. So let's finish coloring in this last light stalk. And then I am going to take my marker, put the cap back on, and I'm going to put my marker away. Now, if you have neon oil pastels, this is the time you get them out. If you have crayons, you want to look for a white or a light yellow. And what you're going to do first is you're going to color the lights here. Color in those circles, but every time you color in the circle, you're going to add short lines coming out from around it. And that shows you where that light is in the darkness. So if you're using white, you might not see those lines very well, but when you color over the top of it, you will see those lines and they will show up. So if you are just using crayons, make sure you press really hard with your white crayon so that when you color black on top of it, you see it. And you can use white or a light yellow. Either one will work. Okay, so there's the light. And now you can color in your anglerfish however you want. You want to stick to, now the neon oil pastels are all really bright colors. But if you're using crayons, you want to stay away from super dark colors. Because when you color with black on top of it, you want your anglerfish to show up a little bit. So you can add patterns to your anglerfish. And you want to be careful when coloring inside those teeth. Go really slow in between all of these really pointy teeth. And then you can go a little bit faster in the middle. Go slow around his eye. Okay, now I'm going to give him a really cool pattern, and I'm going to pick a color that is really different from the color that I just used. So purple's really different. I'm going to give this first one some polka dots. Nice and simple. And since I have this purple one out, I'm going to go ahead and use it to color my next anglerfish. Okay, this one is purple. And you can choose to give him the same color fins, especially on the ones that are facing you. So I might give him the same color fins here, but then I might use a different color oil pastel. And like I said, you want to use a color that is just so different. So I might use this pink and use it to draw lines so it really shows up. And I might give him some stripes, and it doesn't show up as well as you might not be able to see it as well, but when I get out something really important at the end to show you what these neon oil pastels do, you're going to see those stripes. They're going to stick out really well. So I'm going to use this pink one while it's out. I'm going to make sure these anglerfish are all different colors. I don't know if you've ever been surrounded by a sea of anglerfish, but I've been assured that these anglerfish are very friendly. Actually, anglerfish are only about 2 or 3 inches long, so they're not even very big. When you see a picture of them, they can look a little scary. And they eat other fish, and they eat crustaceans, or like little shrimp. So even though they look a little scary, if you ever saw one, they wouldn't really be that scary. Got my pink one. Maybe I'll give my pink one some wavy lines. Maybe this time I'm going to use blue. And let's see, maybe I'll make wavy lines going all the way down. And you can experiment however you want. That looks kind of neat. Well, he is a fun anglerfish. He might be my favorite so far. Since I have my blue one out, I think I'll do a blue one down here. And this time I might do something a little bit different. I might choose this teal color and maybe put a little bit of the teal down here at the bottom. So the bottom kind of has both colors. And you can mix crayons and you can kind of mix oil pastels too, and they blend beautifully together. You'll see this color over here. This beautiful teal. Be real careful going in around these pointy teeth. And let's see, I'm going to choose maybe yellow this time and give some stripes. And I am sorry for that strange noise if you hear it. Not sure what's going on outside right now. Okay, light orange. This is I think this one might be my biggest anglerfish. So he is definitely, now your oil pastels, if you're using them, might break, and that happens a lot. So you don't ever have to worry about them breaking because they still color just as well. Okay, so there he is. I'm going to give him some other, let's see, maybe I'll give this one some polka dots too. And then we're going to finish with the last step, which is our watercolors. So we're going to get out watercolors and you're going to look for the black. You're going to make sure you have some water and a paintbrush. And we're only going to use the black this time. If you really wanted to use a dark blue, you could, but you're just going to paint. And look, do you see what happens with the oil pastel? I'm trying to paint over it, but the oil pastel isn't letting me. So if you are using crayons, you want to get out your black crayon or a really, really dark blue. And you want to start coloring the background, just like I'm painting the background. And when you use a black crayon, when you color over the white or the light yellow that you put down, the same thing will happen. The white lines or the light yellow lines will show up. And you'll see how, because I'm using black, these light stalks don't show up as prominently. So you see the fish and you see the light at the end of their eye stalk, and that's exactly what we want. You might need to keep dipping your hand or your paintbrush, not your hand, in the paint or in the water and then in the paint to keep the paint flowing. And depending on how much water you have on your brush is how dark your black is going to get. So if your paint is looking a little gray, then you can add a little bit less water. And if your paint looks a little too dark for you, then you can add a little bit more water. And you can even use water, and you can use it to spread what you already have on your painting here. Be real careful going around the teeth. If you accidentally go right over the light, same thing's going to happen. Do you see how it pushes the paint away? And it'll happen like that with the anglerfish too, if you use the oil pastels. And if you're using the crayons, similar thing's going to happen. Get these little corners here. And like I said, you don't have to be too careful, because when you paint over it, that oil pastel will just resist that paint. Only have a little bit more to go. Now I'm choosing black here because it's in the deep, deep, dark ocean, but don't hesitate to take your black, combine it with a little bit of blue. Let's see if I can get a good one color. And do you see how it turns like a deeper, darker blue? So here's the blue when I took black and I dipped it in a little bit of blue, and then there's the plain black. So either one will be a really good deep sea color to use around your anglerfish. Okay, I am finishing up. And whenever you think you're done, you want to go back and just make sure that you got all the pieces that you meant to paint. Sometimes I miss some really tiny little spots. So you can go back and make a place darker also. And then you're done. So if you use crayons, then this isn't going to work. If you use these neon oil pastels, then there's something that you can do. Do you see this flashlight? This is a Blacklight flashlight. So it's got a purple light, and it does something kind of fun. It really makes these glow. Do you see how those lines start showing up? So it makes these anglerfish look like the lights are really glowing underwater. And I'll put information about where you can actually pick one of these up, but this is just a flashlight, so it's nothing big. But a regular flashlight won't work with the neon. But even without the flashlight, even if you just have neon crayons and you don't have the neon oil pastels, so long as you're using the black in the background and you're using bright colors for your fish, it's still a beautiful piece of art where you're surrounded by anglerfish. And I think that's pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed the anglerfish project today. And I look forward to seeing you back next week with the next art lesson, which I am still deciding on. But if you do an anglerfish, I would love to see. So please find me, share it with me, and I would love to see what you're creating. So keep creating and have a wonderful day.